Anyone can make their first 100 Etsy sales in 2026, and today I'll be showing you shops only a few months old that have made way more than that. These shops have 4 things in common, and if you do these things, it will be very hard to not make sales. Before we get started, if you're still making mockups one by one, then stop doing that, because Mockup Rabbit is the fastest way to make mockups for print on demand and digital sellers. You can edit hundreds of mockups at once and batch export everything ready to upload to Etsy, Shopify, Amazon, or wherever you sell. If you have your backgrounds and designs, you can just drag and drop them all into this software at once. It makes every single combination for you. And then you can select as many as you want, and every effect you apply can be applied to all your mockups at once. You can make super realistic product images using the warp and editing tools, and easily make all over prints with clipping and eraser. You can duplicate or add designs, add logos, promo labels. You can bulk edit all of them at once. And when you're done, you can export hundreds of images at once, and they will all get downloaded as a zip file. You can crop and resize multiple mockups at once and type text anywhere to keep track of your SEO, tags, titles, whatever. Now, this is not sponsored. I actually made this program for my own business. I use it every day. I can upload 200 listings in one day now. I kid you not, whereas before the max was like 30. So if you have any feedback, I am the person who will read it. Create mockups 10 times faster. Go to mockuprabbit.com and try the entire program for completely free. Only pay when you export. Use code YouTube15 for 15% off for life at mockuprabbit.com, and let's get started on exactly how to make 100 sales fast. So if you think about what happens when you make an organic sale on Etsy, if a customer doesn't see your listing, then they can't buy your listing. So you need traffic, right? So where can you get organic traffic without running paid ads? Was these 3 places. And to get traffic from all of these 3 places, you only have to do one thing, which is use keywords in your titles and tags that people are actually searching for. So traffic source number 1, the customer goes to the website, they search for something, they scroll through all the pages of results, see something they like, and they click on it, right? Now, secondly, as they're browsing the listing, they can see suggestions of similar competing listings with the same keywords that Etsy suggests customers. And lastly, they can come from Google and other search engines, in which case they still have to search for a keyword in which Etsy results can come up. So if we forget about competition for a minute, the most basic thing that you need is to get seen by customers. And to even get seen, you have to make listings with keywords that people are actually typing in. This is also how Etsy knows what your product is and where to show it to people, because nowadays, of course, they can use AI, but the main way that they know what your product actually is still using your tags and titles. Now, luckily, Etsy shows you exactly what people are typing in with Marketplace Insights. You can type in anything and it will show you how many searches and search results you get for the past 30 days for that keyword, and it will suggest you similar search terms that people are actually looking for. I collect a bunch of these in my database every quarter. I've got like 40,000 keywords now that you can filter and rank by search and competition and saturation as well, search to results. So I use this to do my own research. And if you do have access to Marketplace Insights, I've also built this tool where you can make your own database just like mine with keywords that are relevant to your business by copy and pasting your data into this tool. So if you're interested, you can access these at tiertx.com. Essentially, Marketplace Insights is the way to know what people are searching for on Etsy. There are a bunch of other SEO and keyword tools that you can find out there, but this is data from Etsy themselves, so it's really as good as you're going to get if you have access to this. You do need Etsy Plus for it though, and I'm aware that some people still don't. Just any indicators of the types of search terms that people are typing in and their stats either on Etsy or Google, obviously Etsy is more specific, would be helpful. Now, after a customer sees your listing, the second thing they have to do to buy your listing is to actually click on the listing. So there's really 2 things that influence this, which is the mockup image and the price, okay? Now, there is a pricing trick that pretty much every seller is using to make these main prices look very low, which is using a cheaper variant that isn't actually what they're selling, okay? So this price is actually for transfer film only, which pretty much no one's going to buy it. Everyone's going to buy the actual t-shirt, which is a lot more of what you would expect in the price ranges. And also some of the price is split up into shipping and product price as well. So if you ever scroll through the marketplace and find yourself thinking, how are people selling t-shirts for $7.60 when it costs like $10 to make them? The answer is that they're not. And lastly, as a new seller, you have an unfortunate disadvantage, which is that you have no reviews and sales history, okay? And that is a massive turnoff for any potential customers. So if you are just copying bestsellers from other shops, then Etsy will show the exact same listing alongside yours, and people will obviously buy the listing with more reviews and sales. So how do we fix this final problem? Well, let's have a look at how these shops did it, starting with Mug Voyage Co. Now, in their first year on Etsy, they've done about 36,000 sales across a variety of different products, mostly print-on-demand products like t-shirts and mugs and glasses. Now, if we analyze their shop on eHunt, we can see that their best sellers recently are the vintage Comfort Colors custom shirts. And obviously the sales numbers are just an estimate, but these are also the products with the most reviews and favorites, which is actually real data. You can see that their bestseller is in 15 carts right now. So how have they done so well in just 1 year? Well, first, notice that they have a lot of listings, over 1,000 listings, which means that they've done a lot of testing. And if you look at all of these things, right, most of them have not sold. This number is only the listings they have active right now, and it's possible that they've tested even more listings and just deleted them or let them expire if they didn't sell. Or they have listings to reactivate before the holidays. And you'll notice that in their tags, they are targeting very high demand keywords in their tags and titles. They are selling things with keywords that thousands of people are searching for every month on Etsy. When they have found a winning design such as this one, they've really doubled down on it by creating more listings with those keywords and that same design, but on a variety of different products. So if they noticed it was doing well on a t-shirt, they've also put it on a mug. And this is actually how I've gotten a lot of my bestsellers, because somebody might be able to find a similar design on a mug, but not a candle, for example. So that means automatically lower competition just by creating different types of products. And nowadays with print-on-demand, Printify, and Printful, these kind of providers, you can pretty much sell any product. Now, next, notice that pretty much all their products are customizable, and something that I've noticed with my shop personally is that a few years ago, things that were not customizable sold better. But over the years, personalized items make up the majority of what I sell now. And I think that is because Etsy has gotten more competitive with print on demand and the AI. So they do let customers filter their search by personalizable items only. So that means only items that have the personalization field. And they've also added in a lot more options for personalization. So you can now let customers attach photos directly to their purchase. You can enter up to 5 personalization fields, which they could not do this before. This was quite a recent change. So clearly the focus is pushing more custom products, which is a big part of why this shop has been able to do so well quickly. However, the one very important thing that I do have to mention about this shop is that they are running ads. Okay, so if you search for the name, you can see that one of their best sellers is clearly an ad. However, if you know a bit about how Etsy ads work, they are not very effective unless the product sells organically. Because of the fees, it's actually quite difficult to be profitable with ads. You have to have pretty high, I would say for t-shirts, like 3 or 4 ROAS to be able to actually profit off them. So I would be hesitant to say that the only reason that they've done so well in a year is because they've run ads. And clearly they've done a lot of testing with the listings. They have over 1,000. They have a very competitive pricing strategy. They've got a lot of listings with tags and titles that people are actually searching for. And the most important thing is that once they found something that worked, they've scaled out their shop by creating more products, similar products, and different products with the bestseller that worked for them. So how does this apply to you? Well, as soon as you notice a product is doing well, it's getting more sales, more favorites than the other products, then you should double down on that and create a lot more listings that are similar variations of that product. And this is a strategy that has worked very well for me. Now, the next shop is called Saturn Apparel Shirt, and they are not currently running ads. So this is a more realistic example of what you might see the organic only. They opened just 6 months ago and already have 1,000 sales. Another print-on-demand store selling a variety of different products, mostly t-shirts. And straight off the bat, you will notice a lot of similarities to the previous store that we just saw. So if we analyze their best-selling products in eHunt, we see that they're very good at taking advantage of time-sensitive trends. We've got a slight different approach as opposed to the custom evergreen store with photos that we saw just now, but similarly for the niches that are working for them. So for example, Christian products, they have scaled that out and created a lot of variations. And of course, they have a lot of listings, 562 products. We don't know if they had more than this or some previously expired. So obviously as a new shop, testing a lot of different listings, uploading a lot of products is very important. They are selling Bella Canvas or Gildan t-shirts. And of course, they are using that pricing trick. These prices are for baby size t-shirts, not the actual shirt that everybody will be buying, and including some of the price in their shipping price, not loading it up all up front. Now, my opinion on this pricing strategy is that it does help with click-through rate, but it's not the best for conversion. So I kind of like to do a balance of both. On some products, I offer free shipping just to kind of boost them in the algorithm because free shipping listings actually do show up higher. I've tested this, but obviously if I'm selling internationally, I have to charge higher shipping to account for that. Now, one thing to note, despite the fact that they've done well, is that they are only selling to the US, right? And Etsy is actually pretty competitive in the US. I would say about a third of my sales now come from international customers, European, Canadian, Australian. So if you want to capitalize on those worldwide customers as well, that these shops are not competing with you against, then that is something I would definitely recommend. Now, this is another store that has a suspiciously similar name, and I've checked that they are running ads. So yeah, I don't know if this is like a copycat store or they belong to the same person, just like a second store. But if we have a look at this shop, it has done very well in the first 6 months. It's a very similar vibe to the previous one, but both of these are using the exact same format, similar design style, same product. They also have a lot of listings, so over 400 listings. But yeah, kind of interesting situation with the names. So from those two shops, what we've seen so far, at least for print-on-demand style stores, the 4 elements to success are hundreds of listings in highly searched keywords, competitive pricing, aka having a pricing a lot lower than the variant that they're actually selling, and unique or personalizable products, not just copycats of bestsellers. But what about other types of stores like non-print on demand stores? Do these rules still hold up? Well, let's have a look at one now. This one has been open for 1 year and it's made over 67.6k sales. Very impressive. But if you have a look at the store more closely, so if you have a look at the actual types of products that they sell, you'll notice that they only actually sell about 6 or 7 different types of products, but they have over 279 listings. And that is just because they are taking photos of the same products, but from different angles, with different customization, or, paired with other products. Not only does that let them make more listings without them running the risk of getting banned, because Etsy is like, why are you uploading the same listing? But also they have a lot of data on what types of photos work, what kind of colors and images. If we click into the listing, we can see that, again, they're doing the thing where the main image of the product is not actually the thing that they are selling. The actual backpack is $19, although obviously this is a bit less extreme than what we just saw. Otherwise, they have a lot of listings and high quality listings that help them take up real estate in the search results for their keywords. So is this the formula for every shop that's done well? Well, the way I actually found these shops was through the eHunt shop database by sorting through shops created in the past year that have been doing very well. And if you have a look at these, just go to eHunt, link in the description, have a look at these yourself. You'll see that maybe the top 80% of these follow those 4 rules. Now, obviously there are exceptions. So for example, this German shop selling digital products, 184 listings. That's not that many in comparison to the others. Got no real funky pricing going on here. So yeah, there are exceptions, right? If you look through the list of the top shops created in the past year, you'll find that most of them do those 4 things, and hopefully by studying these shops, you can find similarities to apply to your own. In your search, you will find shops like this that have done well for themselves in a very short space of time because they are clearly doing something that they should not be doing, which is infringing on big brands. They have really got some guts because Disney is very well known for getting shops shut down. This is not really worth risking your account over, right? Because if Etsy bans your shop, then you can't open other shops. Plenty of examples of these stores following these 4 simple rules that have become very successful within a year. Now, just personally, I made my first 100 Etsy sales about 4 years ago now, so a very long time ago. The landscape has changed a lot since then. It has become a lot more competitive, which is why I didn't just tell you what I did. I actually looked up examples as proof that you can do this in 2026. And the quality of people's listings and their images have also gotten a lot better. Now, if you know my story, the way that I actually made my first Etsy sales was a little bit different. So I was selling on a marketplace called Redbubble at the time, which is a print-on-demand website. And I took my bestsellers from that website, I put them onto Etsy, and that got me my first 100 sales, which is what got me the momentum for the other listings in my shop to get a boost in search results and actually start selling. And then obviously Q4 came, and that is how I got my start personally. So if you want to find out more about that, you can watch the video on screen right now. Now, most of the shops in this video had a lot of listings. They were taking up a lot of real estate on the Etsy marketplace. So if you're a print-on-demand or digital product seller, or just looking to edit your mockups 10 times faster and batch export everything, do check out mockuprabbit.com. Use code YouTube15 for 15% off for life. I hope that was helpful, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.